Most college basketball bettors think that they're just one smart pick away from a big win. But what they don't realize is the sportsbooks already have them beat before they even place a wager. But what if you could flip the script and get an edge over the books without guessing, without crazy risk, and without spending hours upon doing research? Today, I'm revealing a step-by-step college basketball betting strategy that has been battle-tested, mathematically sound, and designed to give you an edge over the books. So let's go ahead and talk about step one. We are looking for games where the public is over 70% on one side, while the line is not moving in their favor. I'm going to circle some stuff on here for you guys so you understand what this means. So we're looking for the public to be 70% on one side. So let's circle that. 70%. They want to be on the side that we don't want to be, okay? Let's just put it that way. This is classic step one, fading the public stuff, but this is what this means, okay? You can't just always fade the public because, yeah, okay, the public does lose, but they do win sometimes as well. So you can't always just strictly fade the public, but you have to find the opportunities within. So this is what we do, all right? We find the games that have whether it be a spread or a total, okay, the 70% threshold of what the public is betting on, but the line hasn't moved. So what this looks like is, let's say Kansas going against Kentucky. Let's say the line opened up at Kansas -6, right? That's what it opened up at. Now, let's say 70% of the money is coming in on Kansas -6. 70% of the public money is coming in on Kansas -6. But right now, the current line is -5.5. So if you see that, that means the public, for some reason, is all over Kansas -6. Money is actually being put, bigger money than what the public is putting, being put on Kentucky +6, because that's what brought the line down to +5.5. Okay, so what you're looking for here is not to be on the side where the public is betting heavy, but the line didn't move in their favor whatsoever. Because if the line didn't move in their favor, that means, yeah, maybe there's a lot of public money being put on there, but not enough to where it's moving the line in their favor. Instead, the money is completely becoming opposite. So the money where that's going is over here, because you can tell because of how the line moved. So this is step one. Step one, you want to make sure that the line is not moving in the favor of the public money where there's at least 70% of them putting their bets on that one side. Once you have that down, then we can move on to our next step. Okay, let's get to step two now. Step two is going to be a little bit similar to step one, but it's kind of, we're going to isolate one thing here, which is the line movement. Okay? The line movement. We want to make sure that the side that we're looking at is not going completely opposite of what we have down. Okay, so for like that example that I just showed you, let's do it again. Kansas and Kentucky. Say they're -6, they're +6. Okay? If the line opened up here, this is what the line opened up at, and Kansas went to -8, and the money percentage, the public was not on this side, okay? Let's say the public is on Kentucky here. That's where you found that 70%. But this line currently looks like this now. It opened up at -6, but now went to -8. Opened up at +6, now is at +8. What does this tell you? This tells you that obviously you need to be paying attention to Kansas here, okay? You need to be paying attention to Kansas because that's where the line movement drastically changed. Okay. And this is something similar that you're going to see. You're going to see this plenty throughout March Madness. You're going to see this on totals and on spread. So for a total of what that would look like, let's say, for example, let's do Kansas, Kentucky again. Let's say the total opened up at 147, and now the total's at 145. Okay. So it went down. What does that mean? What is that supposed to show you? That's supposed to show you that obviously the money percentage and the public stuff, you want it to be on the over. Okay. You want it to be on the over because hopefully the public is all over the over, but that line moved down. And guess what? We would be looking at the under. So the money, the smart guys, would be looking at the under instead. Okay. Sounds maybe a little bit confusing, but what it is that you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve here is you're trying to isolate where there's line movement that goes directly opposite of what the public is betting on. Because now when you find those, now not every single game is going to have this. Not every single game is going to have this type of stuff. No. There is only going to be a couple games here and there where you'll find that. But those games that you do find, you're creating an edge. So right off the bat, when you find a game like this in your favor, whether it be a total or it be a spread, you have already found a game that is giving you an edge. Now, let's get to step 3, because step 3 is where you're going to solidify the edge to really bring it over the top, so that way you can continuously profit and you actually make money. So let's go ahead and dive into step 3. All right, so step 3 now is going to be making your line. Because if you guys watch any of my videos, we do not take the lines that the sportsbooks give us. We make our own lines. Okay, so let's go right back to our same example so we can make it easier. Kansas, Kentucky. Let's say it opened up at -6. Like we said, let's say, for example, the first 2 steps we roll through, everything lines up perfectly, okay? Let's say 70% of the public money is all over, we'll say Kentucky. Okay. But the line moved to -8. Okay, so this moved Kansas' favor. The public's all over Kentucky, but the line moved completely opposite. Okay, completely opposite from what the public would want to see. So that means the public money's so small and stuff, like we said, step 1 and 2, that it didn't move the line in their favor. Instead, the big money was put over here and moved the line to -8 for Kansas. Okay, so we found a line just like this that matched up. Same thing for the totals. This is the same thing. You could adapt the same thing to the totals as well. So once we found that play. Okay, so right now our play would be, we'd be looking at Kansas -8. All right, that's what we would be looking at. But that's what the sportsbook's giving us, right? So this is most likely going to be this line for you at the sportsbook. This isn't the line we're going to take, though. Okay, we have an edge. We already have an edge because we've already identified something that is going to give us an edge. But to give us a bigger edge here, we're going to move this line. Okay, we are going to move that line. And where I have found tracking, doing data, like I said, for 10 plus years, where you're going to find the best advantage. Now, people don't like this, and it goes against what everybody wants to do. But where you're going to find the best line is going to be in this range, -200 to -230. So what does that mean? That means you're going to take this number and it'll actually turn into this. Kansas minus, I'd say in this range, most likely it'll turn into -3 or -4. Okay? So now you have alternate the point spread. That's what you're doing here, okay? You would alternate the point spread. I'll write that here. You would alt the spread. Same thing with the total, right? You'd alt the total as well if you're doing the total. Okay? either or, and you've put it in your favor even more now, because now Kansas doesn't need to win by 9 points. Now they only need to win by 3 or 4, depending on which one you picked here, okay? Or 4 or 5, whatever one you ended up going with. So it gives you an even bigger edge. Yes, you have to hit these consistently, 70% of the time at least, to be able to profit. But you will, like I said, I've tracked this stuff for years upon years, and you will win at that rate if you follow this 3-step strategy that I showed you for college basketball, for March Madness, because guess what? When it comes down to it, you want to be on the right side, and there's a formula for that. And like I said, I figured that formula out. Okay, so as always, if you guys want me to teach you this stuff one-on-one, so that way you know exactly what to look for and not just chasing a YouTube video, make sure you guys click the link down in the description, okay? And I'll show you exactly how to do this stuff that I show you guys every day on the whiteboard and stuff like that. And you get all the answers as well. So all you got to do is click the link down in the description for that, all right? But like I said, 3 steps, really all it is. You're defining 3 steps here. You want that opposite public movement. You don't want to be where the public is. You want that line movement to be in favor of your side, not the public side. And then you want to alternate that number down to give yourself a 75%, 80% probability shot, even at these type of numbers, okay? Because we have to hit those numbers, all right? Implied probability here on these numbers is 70%, 66 to 70%. So we have to hit above that mark to be able to profit. You're not going to make crazy profits, but you are going to make little increments of gains each game. And that is the way that you win in sports betting, rather than just giving your money away and just guessing and thinking you know what's going to happen. Because I'm going to tell you this, nobody knows what's going to happen. You can only do the math and trust the probabilities.